Today I'll be talking about Harvard Principle of Negotiation. As an entrepreneur, you want to make sure that you negotiate and you know how to negotiate. Life is about negotiation. You negotiate every day. When you go to the supermarket, you are used to, as an American, we are used to what? Nothing to negotiate. But in business, it's different. In business, you need to negotiate. You present a contract, you would like to have a deal. It's not a set. When you deal to B2B or to B2C, if B2C or it's different than B2B. For you to, once you deal B2B, you have to negotiate deals, contract. Otherwise, your competition will be winning, right? And when it comes to negotiation, you need to make sure it's cooperation, not competition. You want to cooperate with those that you negotiate with. Why it's cooperation and it's not competition? There are different strategies when it comes to negotiating. Either a win, lose, when you hate somebody and you don't care about them, right? You will walk in and you want to lose. America is a very powerful country as an example. They don't care with Russia, so hey, we are in charge of the economy and the world economy. We are in charge of making peace all over the world. We don't care if the other party lose. They have to obey what we do. And usually you do that even you as an entrepreneur when you don't like the person. You don't like an employee who's coming to your company and they are negotiating their salary with your HR department or with you when you start your startup. You don't care about that one because he's not the best employee ever. So you tell him, look, take it or leave it, right? Win, lose. And you have a lose-win situation. When you don't think about yourself, when you think smaller than the other person you're negotiating with, you end up losing, right? And maybe you are the person who are a very positive person and you like to give in. I myself do it a lot of time. I negotiate about certain things and I like certain people. I have done it even with some employee because I like them. I see in the future they have a lot of potential, they're willing to give. So whatever they ask, I don't care. I lose. If I look at it number-wise, I'm losing. But I'm gaining some emotional thing and I say, look, I'm building the future with certain employees. It depends. You may have that kind of strategy when you walk into the door. Or you may have both compromise. That's another strategy you plan ahead of time. It can be also a lose-lose situation when you're both stubborn. Right? Or you're walking head to someone. And it could be a win-win situation and that's what you're aiming for as an entrepreneur. You want to have a strategy that is a win-win situation between you and whoever you're negotiating with. You both need to walk away happy. Well, why principle? You may ask yourself, why Harvard University came up with principle, not rules? Because in the world of cooperation, you need principle. You cannot lead in a world of cooperation with rules. It has to be organic growth, otherwise you stop the creativity, you stop the people thinking, the way of creating things, adapting, adjusting. That's why you can't come up with rules. You need to come up with principle. And principle can change, can adapt within time as well, right? Well, the first principle is you need to separate the person from the issue. That's principle number one. A lot of time, what we do is we don't like the person or we have that first impression. And let me tell you, first impression is everything, right? You got two things in business. One is the first impression that you need to take care of and then your mouth when you start speaking. Right? So that person that you met within the business meeting, or let's say you're meeting an investor, you're meeting another employee, you're meeting a customers that, when you first start, you need to talk a lot to your customers, right? You're getting feedback from them, you're growing your business, you want to build something people like, you need to talk to people. And you may see them and, hey, let's say I'm building partnership with Cisco, right? The guy who's in charge there, he sees himself as a part of corporate America. They are so big, they're very well known. He look down to you, or he look at you like you are nobody, or maybe they're busy. They have a bad day at home, an argument with his wife, and he come to you and he put that back to you. You need to separate that when you negotiate, right? You need to separate emotion, and you need to be. You can't be hard on others. You need to figure out what's the issue, not the person. Let's say I'm negotiating for a web design company, and I'm talking to them and let them know that, hey, I would like to build my website. I want it to be JavaScript for front end, Java for back end, and this is my budget, you know, $20,000. You walk into that company, you already set up your budget, you know what you're gonna do. And by the way, as an entrepreneur, if you're building a startup, you need to have your own engineer. You can't hire another company, that's a mistake. Coming back to the point. Here we go, I walk into this web design company, $20,000, that's my budget. And I'm walking in there, and the first thing I get, the guy starts to shake hand, he say, follow me. You're like, what the hell is that? What was the long guy? And maybe he felt like he's, I don't know, you know, he has some issue with you as the way you look. Maybe, you know, maybe that person have an issue with you, the way you looked, right? He didn't like the way you looked. He had that bad thing, and you had that bad feeling. You guys didn't click. You need to get that out of the way when you start negotiating the prices. Because if it shows in your body language, if it shows in your decision, you can take an emotional decision instead of taking a good decision. Another principle is you should negotiate based on interest, fixed interest, right? And you need to your negotiation need to be interest oriented. You may ask yourself, what do you mean by interest oriented? Well, let me tell you this. As an example, you have 3 employees that are coming to you're hiring, and you got 3 employees that you like the best, and only one of them get the chance to stay with you and the team. That employee, those 3 employees, you want, I give you even a better example. Let's say 3 of your employees, they're going on a trip. Good? Only one of them get to go, and you need to negotiate with them. This is what you do. You'll ask them why going on this trip is important to you. What is the plus you're gonna give to the company going on the trip? What is interesting you in your decision to go on this trip? And if you discuss based on interest, one of them will back up. Because one of them will be like, hey, because I like the place that we're going to. It's so beautiful, I've never been there. The other person will say, because I know the place very well, and I can have a partner, and I can have a meeting with our partner, I can tell them more, I can show them more. I know where to put certain things, you know, I know restaurants, I know people there, they will make them more welcome, they make them better. Oh, okay, this person has a better interest to the company, his interest is not to himself. All right, the third person, why you'd like to go? Well, hey, I'd like to hang out, and I would like to get him out of the office. I'm so tired, and I don't like being in the office the whole day, right? So they have 3 different interests. You need to pick the one that have interest to the business, and you tell them, look, the interest of the company, the more beneficial is for him to go. And now, here we go. We both had that win-win situation. So make sure your negotiating is based on its interest oriented. That's the second principle. The third principle is you need to create criteria that a solution must fulfill. A lot of time when we come up with negotiation, when we negotiate among others, you want to create certain ways, because it's like getting 50-50, right? It's getting win-win. You want to develop something that, I'll give you an example. All right, in our company, the new digital company that we started, we are negotiating with Adidas or Nike or one of the big Fortune 500 companies, and we discuss with them our offers, right, for their big event. Hey, they have this event, we would like to market their event for them, and we would like to fix their engagement within social media and stuff like that. So we tell them, look, we want to charge you this price based on this criteria, because it costs us this much to bring videos and our cameras and equipment. It costs us this much to rent lighting. It costs us this much for transportation. There are criteria, and this is why our price range. And we have to mark up our product to 30%. Here we go. That's the market industry. You see, now it's clear there are criteria, and those that you're negotiating with, they want you to win. So they won't give you under the price, and they will feel more comfortable. You can negotiate also not just contract. I talk a lot about contract because that's the experience I had within my business. But even with employee, you negotiate with investors as well. Some investors will come to you and say, hey, we are big VC firms and we're gonna give you a couple $1 million. We need to take 20%. You cannot say and walk away and say, listen, you cannot be emotional. So it has to be not based on personal, right? Because you don't care about, you care about the issue, right? The issue is they're taking so much of your company. And that will not open opportunity for you for other investors to walk in later on. They may judge you based on that and say, look, you undervalued your company right now. We will have to dilute your stocks or whatever, right? So you want to negotiate with them, not based on the person, and you want to separate that person from the negotiation, from the subject itself, and then you need to develop criteria. So you can tell them, listen, based on my experience and my mentor experience or my advisor experience, advise me that I need to give only 10% of the company, because giving more than that will take away my opportunity to bring more investor in. We have a fund, let's say you're raising $5 million, they're putting in $2 million, taking 20%. We cannot fulfill the fund that I'm working on, or the target fund that I'm working on. I can't give you that much. You offer me fifth of what, so I'm gonna give you not fifth, I'll give you sixth of that. I give you more, I give you third of that. It's a win-win situation. And you have based on criteria. You decided like, this is based on what I'm negotiating. Also, you need to think when you negotiate, must be a solution that will bring both parties happy. What is the solution that will get you to yes? Let's say you're talking to your employers and you're discussing with him salary, right? I myself have a plan. Every year I'll add percentage within the salary of my team. But I don't have a budget right now. And someone come to me like a project manager and say, hey, I want you to add my salary. I can't add your salary just like that. But if he comes to me with a solution, he say, I'll add my salary and I'll bring you this much of an extra income. I'll give you more interaction. This is the adding value to your business and to the company. And based on that, I would like to add my salary. You created a solution for the person you're negotiating with. Now, when I am the founder of the business, I'd be like, okay, all right. They figured my problem was not having enough money. They offer me a solution. So you should, and when you come up with a solution, you need to apply the last principle, which you need to apply different options, right, to choose from, because people like to choose by nature. So the fourth principle is you need to provide different options to choose from. People like to choose. You cannot come to someone you're negotiating with and say, hey, it's my way or the highway. It has never been like that. Listen, subscribe, like the channel, post it, tag someone who needs to know about this, and make sure you read. There are tons of books about negotiating. You need to really understand how you negotiate as an entrepreneur. You are constantly negotiating days in, days out. And you need to have a win-win situation when it comes to partnership, when it comes to dealing with the employee. And I know other countries where they will have win-lose, it's all about me. They require a lot of compromise from whoever they're negotiating with, and they walk in happy when they only win. American style, we're a capitalist country, and that's what's great about America. We all have to win, so we all grow together. You need to have that mentality. You need to grow your team. You need to make sure whoever you're negotiating, you can't talk to corporate America and try to get the largest number. Hey, I got $30,000 from them. No, you want to make sure they're happy, for giving you that service. So they be talking about you and your business to other people, and they bring you more business. And every year there'll be, because everyone can get customers. What's important is the return customers. That's what makes your business bigger, and that's what makes you more happy. One more time, I'll tell you, there are 4 principles of the Harvard principle of negotiation. The first one is you need to separate the person from the issue. Separate the person from the issue. Even if somebody, I lived it myself, right? I talked to some investors and he doesn't have time. That's why we have the elevator pitch. I'm walking into him, I'm preparing. I had 3 nights of preparation for this meeting, and I show up and I wanted to give him a presentation, and guess what? As I'm walking, The guy didn't like me. I don't know what it is, but I can see it in his body language. I can see it in his way of communicating with you. I didn't let that affect my emotion. I put it on the side and I kept talking about where I came there for. And you know, for me, I didn't get offended when he said a no. I took it as a yes or a maybe. You know, eventually he kept following me and I kept reporting and sending him emails, letting him know, hey, this is what we did, this is what we did. And within time, when I invited him, he saw me at another event and he said hi to me. And I'm like, hey, hi. You know, we shake hands and then, bam, we end up having another meeting with him and we end up working together. So you need definitely to separate the person. And you should negotiate, your negotiation should be interest focused. It should be based on the interest of that person that you're negotiating with. You need to develop a criteria with solution, and you need to know what condition must be good for the solution. And the last thing is, I said you should have a different option to choose from. With that said, I'm giving you information out of my heart. Please ask questions. Ask any question you need to know. I know that you as a young entrepreneur and when you start your business, you kind of don't have a lot of knowledge, you know. Get advisors, get someone, you know, follow somebody and that knows or been there, have done that, and keep negotiating, man.